Would you tell everybody your name, please?
Hi, my name is Bob Sherman. I was born September the 9th, 1953 in
And
Bucksport, South Carolina.
and who are you to me?
And my Brianna is my daughter, and she's asked me to do this recording.
Yes. Okay, so what do you think is the importance of generational storytelling in the African American community?
Well, I think that since we don't have a very accurate account of what happened in our lifestyle or our lives throughout generations, I think storytelling gives us a more personal view of what the account of what happened, and it also, I think, provides a higher level of truthness to it, even though sometimes that stories are passed down from generation to generation. It somewhat gets exaggerated, but I think with today modern technology, you have an opportunity to capture the sincerity and truthness of storytelling.
And also, what do you think, like, the importance of like folklores and things like that is the importance for our community, like, Anansi the spider and the African tradition and things like that, and also the story that you're about to tell me. Do you think that holds an important part in our like in the African American community as well?
Yes, I do. I think that we all come from different walks of life, and then everyone has different experiences for some of the things that has happened to them, and so the opportunity to capture those and pass those around from generation to generation, and I think it's very important.
Okay, so now can you tell us your story about what you saw as a child in the backwoods of Bucksport, South Carolina?
All right, this was an event that took place in the summer of 1963. Myself and probably about 6 or 7 other young men, we were at ages between 9 and 11. And what we would do is we'd go out and play cowboys and Indians. So we had this one guy, McKeeva Nichols, who moved to Bucksport, and we would always go out and play later on in the afternoon. But when McKeeva came, he was always a morning person, so he'd come by in the morning. So on this particular morning, McKeeva gathered myself, my cousins, I think Cush, Ronnie, Lloyd, John Huggins, I think James Calvert might have been there also, but those are the ones that I can remember. And so we went into the woods behind my house, which is probably about a half a mile from the house. So what we would do is walk from the back of the house through a clearing in the woods. And so as we came up out of the clearing in the woods, we just heard this strange noise behind us, oh, like that. So we all kind of turned around at the same time, and we saw this huge thing. It looked like the devil, and it had a pitchfork, had horns, and it had a huge dog, probably a dog that was about half the size of this thing that we saw. And so what we did is we just turned around, and we just started running. Now you have to realize that this was the days before video cameras and cell phones and everything like that. So we had no way of capturing this. So throughout the years, this is passed down through generation to generation as far as what actually took place. And so right now, there's only probably a handful of us who are still living that witness this. And as far as I know, this is actually the first recording of anyone of us talking about recording it, other than just talking about it. So that's something that's has stuck with me even today, and it's almost like it happened yesterday. And after that time, I left, and that next month, or at the end of the summer, we moved to Germany. So I've never gone back into the woods since then.
So Can you tell me how you felt when we were in New Orleans and we were at the New Orleans Zoo and you saw a picture or the statue of the Rougarou? Can you tell me how that made you feel when you saw that?
I was having flashbacks of that summer day in 1963, and I said, "That's the thing that I saw in the woods." And until that time, I'd never had a name for it or anything. So until you brought it to my attention that that's what it was called, and I'm like, "That's what we saw." Well, it wasn't the same thing. It was something very close to it.
So, do you believe in like the Rougarou or things such as Bigfoot or whatever it was that you saw in the woods that day?
I do believe that there are phenomenals out there that we can't account for. When we told some other people about it, they said, "Oh, it was probably this guy named Man Gauls who always would hang out in the woods." But you have to realize that where we were at, there was no one else around, and I don't know where he would have come from as far as that. There's just empty spaces from that. So I think that there are things out there that we can't account for. And sometimes, that's not necessarily how folklore get started, but when you witness these different things, and like I said, when you record them and you have a history of them, they can be passed down. And I think that as time goes by, you'll see other people, see other things and talk about it. And maybe someone will get an opportunity with this age of technology to actually have their cell phone or camera out and actually record these things.
Well, thank you so much. It is greatly appreciated. If you could tell all my audience bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Please make sure that you subscribe, and follow my Instagram and Facebook at Ancestors and Alcohol. Goodbye, beautiful Black people.